Discussing in Shara Bitachon chapter 5 about the great distinction of a person's life. If you have bitachon, you accept Hashem's judgment. If you do not have bitachon, so then it's very difficult to have accepting Hashem's judgment. You think, God forbid, Hashem is against you or something like that. Number two, we said that you'll have peace of mind when you have bitachon. A guy who doesn't have bitachon, doesn't have trust in Hashem, he won't have a peace of mind. And we said he'll have anguish, his heartache won't leave him, he's discontent. And this is a big one over here. He says, She'ifato leosif larbod leiknos. He has a constant aspiration to increase, add, and amass possessions. And he's never going to feel like it's good enough. You know, the classic syndrome, you buy that nice new car, that nice new pair of shoes, and then right away it's like, they last a day or two, and then you're on to the next big thing that you need to move on to. And then that is the lack of peace of mind. When a person has bitachon, and he realizes whatever he's able to get is what Hashem wants him to have, and this is what I need for my tikkun, so then you'll be able to deal with your stress in a much better way. But this guy, he just has heartache, right? Number 9 over here, it says, he who has 100 wants 200, King Solomon says, right? Ohev kesef, lo yisba kesef. Guy loves money, he won't ever be full of money. Since this person thinks that everything he has is a result of his own handiwork, his hard work, not really because Hashem gave it to him. Even when he's successful, he's still aggravated because he feels he could have tried harder, he could have earned more. And if he would have had a bitachon, he would have realized this is what Hashem gave me, this is what I need. And no matter how much money he saves up, his lack of bitachon will make him worry that maybe it's not enough for the future. He's wrapped up in the pursuit of material wealth all his life. And during bad times, this guy who has no bitachon, he has heartache, he's disgusted by the situation. Since it's against his desires, he conflicts with his nature and personality. As it says in King Solomon Mishlei, Proverbs, all the days of poor men are bad, but a good-hearted person is at a perpetual feast. Meaning, what is ani? Ani doesn't always mean poor. It means poor-minded or poor-hearted. You don't have the proper tools in your life to be able to deal with life, so you're considered poor in knowledge, and therefore all your days are bad, says King Solomon. But a guy who has a good heart, he has bitachon, he's positive, he has a good outlook, he's like in a perpetual feast. His whole life is, oh, we got this also, wow. And how you see a guy in a feast, they bring out another dish and another dish. Whoa, wow, sushi, whoa, fish, whoa, lamb chops, whoa, look at this, amazing. So the same thing when a guy sees more and more blessings coming from Hashem, he doesn't have an expectation, he just says, wow, thank you, I don't deserve any of this, and he just keeps saying thank you, because he has bitachon. So then he's always going to be appreciating everything he has. It's going to be like they're bringing out another abed and another abed and another abed. Number 3, we said the different area where the bitachon helps is he trusts in Hashem and he puts effort, right? Let's go, he tries to make business. Let's say he tries to accomplish some certain goal. He doesn't rely in his heart on the means, right? He knows that just because I went and I said and I did, that doesn't mean that's going to lead to the result. Ultimately, the result is coming from Hashem. That's just ishtadlut. So then what? So then, he doesn't expect any benefit or harm unless that's Hashem's will, right? And then even when it comes out good or comes out bad, he doesn't give meaning to the act. He just says at the end of the day, this is what Hashem gave blessing to, and it worked out, or it didn't work out. Hashem didn't want it to work out. But the guy who has no bitachon, he's sitting there blaming. He says, see, I went into the wrong business. I shouldn't have done business with this guy. It's my fault. It's his fault. It's their fault. And he starts looking and blaming and trying to understand why, who, when, where. And the person who has no bitachon, he has a hard life dealing with figuring out that conundrum. But a person who has bitachon, he says, listen, no matter what I would have done, Hashem didn't want right now. And no matter if I would have done something else, if Hashem wanted me to be successful, I would have made this money somewhere else. With a different person also. Whatever it is, Hashem has many ways. So therefore, that's why a person who has bitachon, he has a much easier life. Rather, when a guy who has bitachon, he engages in the worldly matters, he does it because he wants to serve Hashem. And Hashem said you have to do ishtadlut. So he's just trying to fulfill the word of Hashem. He doesn't really care about the ishtadlut itself. So therefore what? He says he'll thank Hashem for whatever he gives him. He'll have greater love and for Hashem and not be attached to the occupation necessarily. He'll say, any occupation I'll do really will give me the blessing I need, and he will not have more confidence in that occupation more than the others. He won't say, oh, this is the best occupation. At the end of the day, Hashem could give occupation anyway. He can put us through your occupation anyway. He says, however, the one who does not trust in Hashem, so then what? He tries to be busy with occupations that he thinks will benefit him, and pushes away the ones that reflect harm from him. And what? And if he does well, he says, you see, gold is amazing. You see, gold is doing really well. You see, Bitcoin, you see, real estate, it's the best. You look how much money I made because of this. And then the other ones that he thinks they're not going to make money, he pushes them away and doesn't get excited about it. And he says, oh, he abandons it. He says it's no good. He talks bad about it. He becomes disgusted with it. He loses interest in it. And really, that's a falsehood, because really, it's not the occupation that gives the money. It's the person who has the bracha that Hashem gave him, and it's what makes the money. So therefore, that's what you have to realize. Number 4 is a person who has bitachon. כי בוטח באלוקים, כשיוותר לו דבר על מזונו, יוצאנו במה שמפיק רצון הבורא יתברך, מנדיבות נפשו בטוב לבבו. This is a huge one. He says that when a person has a surplus of funds, beyond what is required for his sustenance, he realizes that this money was sent to him for a purpose. And he knows that he will continue to provide. And in what? He will use the surplus on what Hashem is pleased by, right? He'll be willing to give tzedakah. He'll be willing to give a loan. He'll be willing to go and do a mitzvah with his money and not be nervous about it. But a person who doesn't have bitachon, what does he say? He always sees the world and all that's in it as being sufficient for his livelihood. He says, whatever money I have extra, I get the deserve to spend that on myself. Now I have the ability to get a Porsche. Oh, do you have to buy a Porsche? Not necessarily, but I have extra money. Why not? What about using this money to give people loans, a gamach? What about using this money for tzedakah in the community, for something the community really needs? No, why would I waste my time doing that? I should be the loser, should go support this and help the community. Why? This money Hashem gave me, it's my bracha, I should spend it on myself. And the person who's talking like that doesn't have bitachon. He doesn't realize that Hashem gave you this extra money, you should be looking to use it, how to serve your Creator, and not just to serve yourself. So therefore, a person comes to you and asks you for tzedakah. Hey, we need to finish building the shul. Hey, we need to finish supporting this school. Hey, we need to build this, community service building. No, I don't know. Now's not the time. But you make a lot of money. No, that's not for you. I don't have money for you. I have money for me. I'm going to go to Europe right now for 3 weeks and spend a lot of money on a vacation. But I don't have money for you. Well, who says I have to give you money? Maybe I'll give you a loan. Tzedakah? Why would I give it tzedakah? Maybe I'll give you a loan. Who knows? If it's the right time and it's a good mood and I had good coffee this morning. But Haz Shalom, this guy who has no bitachon or very little bitachon, he thinks that his money that Hashem gave him is only for him. And he doesn't realize that many times Hashem gave you money to be a shaliach, to give other people money to support them. More than you do for yourself, you do for them, they do for you. They give you olam haba, all you're doing is giving olam hazeh. This guy is going to be too protective of his money to use it for fulfill obligations towards Hashem and other people. Now he comes and he buys tefillin. He says, "Why so expensive? Why it costs so much? Any mitzvah?" He asks the price. Why so expensive? He doesn't ask that when he buys his shoes and his clothes and his belts and his vacations and his cars. He doesn't say, "Oh, why so expensive?" He says, "Yeah, of course, it makes sense. Okay, I'll pay it. The moldings, the car, the this, the that. Yeah, I'll pay it. Top dollar. But the mitzvot, why so expensive? Why is tuition so much? Why I have to pay tuition?" So therefore, a person has to know that this is because like a bitachon. And rather than, instead of gaining anything, he harms himself. And before he knows it, says the Chabad Level, before he knows it, he will lose his money. He'll be left without it. It says in Mishlei, chapter 11, pasuk 24, the one who scatters and more is added, and one who refrains from what is proper only for a loss. If you refrain from using the money that God gave you to use for the right things, you use it only on yourself, you only see yourself. King Solomon says, if you don't use it for what's proper, it only leads to a loss. Baruch Adonai Olam.